What do you say? We kick things off?
Let's do it.
All right. Welcome, everyone, to our special live stream extravaganza. Welcome to our virtual village for creators, coaches, creatives, entrepreneurs, and brands. Welcome to this incredible value-packed free training that we've pulled together for you in lightning speed. You guys, we are so happy to be here with you today to help you bulletproof your business in times of uncertainty. We have something really, really special for you today. And here's the absolute bottom line. Regardless of what's going on in the world, you need to be making money, right? And here's the cool thing. Most likely, you, like us, work from home, which is a blessing right now. And the second thing is you, like us, sell things online, products, courses, services. You sell valuable things that people can buy online, or you're wanting to learn how to sell things online. This is such a blessing right now. And more important than making money, people need you now more than ever. Think about the people you serve. Most likely, they are struggling right now, no matter what niche you're in. And the most powerful position we can come from is, how can I serve? How can I serve my people right now? This is exactly the question that Meg and I asked ourselves, and what led us here to this point to join forces and be here with you now to bring you double the value than what we could bring separate of each other. And we're so excited we can come together and offer support, tools, and be here together as a community. And, you know, because as much as cash is king right now, having the cash to stay in business, to expand your business, just as important is the support, the tools, the community you're paying attention to and consuming in the days to come. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say, if this training doesn't actually knock your socks or slippers off, if you aren't blown away by the amount of value we're about to give you in these next 45 or so minutes, if you take all the powerful distinctions and strategies we're about to give you and you implement them and don't sign at least one client, then I will pay you $50. I will put $50 in your pocket, okay? That is how much I believe in the stuff that we're about to talk about. So go ahead and just give us a yes in the comments if you're with us and if you're ready for the valuable content we're about to give you, okay? And speaking of we, this is not about us, but in case you're thinking, who the heck are these two and why should you listen to us? Really quickly, Meg, tell the lovely people who you are and what you do, friend.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Meg Sylvia. I am a brand strategist. I own a business called Artful Pro, where basically I work with small business owners, service providers to help them go from, doing okay, getting by, having this business that may have some clients, but maybe it's not at the point where it's the right clients, or maybe it's not at the point where you feel confident in the business that you're putting out in the world. So what we do is work with those people to take them from basically a business to a brand and putting the pieces together to give you that confidence around your business, around what you're putting out there, and giving you the opportunity to start standing out and attracting the right people to you rather than always having to push and to chase and to hunt down every lead. So that's what I do. I've been in the marketing and design world for like 10 years now, I think, which is crazy to think. But yeah, that's what I do. And I'm hoping to bring some of that underlying brand. And I'll get into more about what I mean by branding in a minute here too, as we get into the training, but hoping to bring that kind of foundation into this training to help you get some clarity around what needs to happen in order to shift to that place where you can really start attracting more of the right people.
Love it. And I'm Stephanie Hess. I have been burned out. I've been silenced. I've battled a high achiever's eating disorder. I've struggled financially. I've felt lonely. I've coached clients who've been cut off by their families, had life-threatening illnesses, been abused, been assaulted, and have risked everything to make their dream work. And I've also been a leader, a coach, a mentor, and an advisor to high-level leaders and creators for more than a decade. Now, between Meg and my collective dozens and dozens of clients and communities in the thousands, we've heard the current reality for many of you, the fear and general unease you have around selling in a time like now and being attacked or judged or criticized online. The question that you're having of how do I even talk to my clients and customers right now? Should I redo the messaging on my website? Do I put my email sequences on pause? The absolute mental and energetic toll this has taken on your motivation to show up. The need that you might be feeling for changing up your entire strategy in order to keep the lights on. The allure of discounting or dramatically reducing your prices to be sensitive and non-spammy when so many people are suffering. So we have a pretty good idea of what's keeping you up at night, which is why we've come together to address the mind chatter that you're having, to look at what's ultimately true and support you with the tools and mindset to take the next best step forward for you today. So with all that said, make sure to have a pen and paper out so you can take notes on the insights you'll be having and the downloads you'll be getting as you're in this container, in this vortex with us. Go ahead and turn off any distractions so we can all be here together and really get curious. And I want to invite you to listen as if you're on the edge of your seat, okay? Be willing to consciously engage with the stuff we're about to give you today. Just one insight could mean your next client, your next contract, or check in the mail, okay? And at the end of this session today, we are going to make a really special and free invitation for the first 5 people to join us and experience something really, really valuable. You don't want to miss that. So be sure to stay with us until the end. It will be well worth the wait. And the beauty of what we're going to teach you today is when you do it properly, you can also create your dream brand, your dream business that impacts the world, changes lives, and gives you the freedom you so deeply want. Freedom that when moments of chaos and crisis happen, like we're going through right now, you don't even have to worry because your cash flow, your bank accounts, your savings accounts are all secure, okay? So that said, we're going to dive into the meat of our content today and give you the 6 tips to bulletproof your business in times of uncertainty. This is not going to be another live or training that leaves you feeling totally unsatisfied or wanting for more or wishing you had never spent an hour of your precious time watching it, because we know your time is super valuable. You could be doing a million other things right now and you're here. And it is our biggest privilege to welcome you here and serve you for this hour. So you guys, as coaches, creators, leaders, you're pretty much the front line in terms of service warriors. We have to be able to serve love. How are you doing that in times of crisis when maybe your own internal state is being shaken, and rightfully so? We are in unprecedented times. There's gloom and doom out there, and this can really make you contract and shrink and make decisions from a place of scarcity as a business owner, and we don't want that for you. Leaders around the world, like us, are being called to take an entirely new kind of action and show up a lot differently right now. This crisis is a wake-up call to get your business online. There is really no choice at this point, and you've got to fix and optimize this right away. So I just want to acknowledge you. We want to acknowledge you for being here, for taking action and making things happen. Although things can feel challenging, know that there is so much opportunity right now for anyone who is willing to get curious, pivot quickly, and be of service to our customers and communities. And that includes you, because here's what we're potentially talking about for you. What if you actually made more money during this time than you projected to make before life as you know it did a 180? What if you used this time to make your business more resilient than you ever imagined it could be? What if you used this time to expand your impact larger and wider than you ever thought possible? And finally, what if you actually jumped in with both feet instead of sitting on the sidelines waiting for it to all blow over, finding yourself in an even worse position? Actually, Meg, I think we have those questions on a slide. Could you pop those up there for me,
Absolutely.
please? So y'all can take some notes. I want you to picture this, guys and gals. My instinct for most of you watching this, you provide a service that people will always need. And I'm willing to be wrong about that. But think, there will never not be a need to help people improve their health, their family, their life, their relationships, their business, their marketing, and there surely won't be a decline in the demand for digital learning, online courses, online marketing, virtual communities anytime soon. Definitely not in our lifetime. So the difference between a business that survives periods of uncertainty and ultimately thrives is those who recognize that there's a real valuable opportunity here. Okay. If you're with us, go ahead and put a yes in the comments. And now that we've created some context so you can understand what's really at stake and what's really your opportunity, I just want to slow us down for a minute. There's this piece of stillness that is required for many of us right now. And as confronting and hard as that is feeling for some, it can also be our greatest teacher. So I just want to invite you for a moment to get present. We're going to take in some deep breaths. I want you to breathe in faith, breathe in trust, trust that you will get exactly what you need today. You are not here by chance. I want you to breathe out any feeling of anxiousness, fear. And if there's a word that I say that feels wrong, replace it with your own word. Breathe in service. Breathe in love, compassion. Breathe in joy. Breathe out worry, pressure, unrest, dis-ease. Breathe in acceptance of exactly where you are right now and know that wherever you are mentally, emotionally, spiritually, it's perfectly okay. Breathe out judgment. Breathe in support. Breathe in spiritually aligned action. Breathe in inspiration. And lastly, I want you to let go of the pressure of having to have it all figured out and DIYing it. You are in our virtual village today, which makes you a bit like family. We are not here to give you fluffy marketing stuff. We're here to give you real. This is real life we're talking about. And there's a lot of financial fear and crisis energy floating about right now. You might be feeling it. You might be hearing about it. You might be picking up on it. And it's really easy to feel and get caught up in the fear. Here's what I have to say to you. You are still a powerful creator. You are still responsible for your life, your money, and your well-being. and you're still in charge of your next move. This is not the time to abandon your creative power or to buy into stories that do not serve you. It's time to make your move. Whatever it is that you will be led to start, to create, or to build right now, this is possible, and next steps are always available. Which brings me to our first tip that you can implement now to bulletproof your business in times of uncertainty. We are passing out the pass. We're giving you full access, VIP, unlimited passes to get creative. It might seem that you can't see a path forward in your business right now, or maybe quite the contrary. Maybe you're feeling like your opportunities are limitless and a bit all over the place as far as what to do. Either way, how can you navigate this time in ways you've never thought of or considered before? Because there are some things you can only see and learn while in a crisis. I want to repeat that. There are some things you can only see and learn while in a crisis. Now, to give you some creative inspiration, I'm going to share some examples and stories of business owners that have made creative pivots in their business in recent days and weeks. Before that, I want to highlight two potentially dangerous thoughts or stories that might be playing on loop right now for you and causing you to feel hopeless or not in control. Thought number one is this: everything is shut down. I simply can't get paid for what I do right now. No one can hire me. Now, be true, or it might not be. I want you to ask yourself, is this ultimately true? Is there freelance or contracting work available? Last that I saw, sites like Upwork and Fiverr are still very much up and running. Do what you need to do to get income flowing and coming in the door, or create an additional revenue stream entirely. Don't box yourself in. Think creatively. And if you just can't access your own creative sources right now, you'll put in the comments, "Hey, Meg, hey, Steph, I'm struggling with figuring out my next step right now. Help me." It's that simple. Now, the other thought that you might be having right now that could be preventing you from thinking creatively is this: my clients can't pay for my services and they're canceling their contracts right now. This is an actual reality for some people. There is no denying that. And if we were to look at this and invest in this in a creative way, is there a way for you to keep your customers or your clients continue using your service or doing something that they do with you, so that when business comes back, when life is fully restored, this is still a part of their routine, even if they cannot ultimately continue to pay you? Can you keep in touch with them every week? Can you afford to keep them on pro bono? Make preserving the relationship your top priority, so that when this passes, you get right back to business. So the first step is bring any awareness to the thoughts you're having that may be getting in the way of you thinking creatively about your situation right now, okay? Then it's all about leverage, or using something to its maximum advantage. I want you to write this word down and circle it, okay? Leverage. I'm going to give you 5 ways to leverage right now. Leverage what your clients need right now. Like one local gym who is renting out their indoor cycling bikes for people to use while they're at home during this time. They are providing a very useful service for some people. They're helping them to stay fit, and they're still bringing some money in while their doors are temporarily closed. Amazing, right? You could also leverage what you're good at. A woman in the catering and events management business, well, everyone canceled their events. So she was out of work practically overnight. So she thought about, well, what am I really good at? And what can I do with my eyes closed? And it's systems. So she went and created a product to share all of her processes, all of her spreadsheets, the way that she stays super organized, and shared it with others in her industry so they could learn how to run their businesses like she does. She leveraged her unique brilliance to provide a necessary service to others. You can leverage the extra time to plan ahead. Perhaps you're in the photography business where maybe you're a wedding photographer and all weddings and events are on pause. One photographer decided to reach out to all of her clients to help them start planning their events that are 6 months from now. You can leverage what you love to do. Joseph Campbell has the famous quote, "Follow your bliss and doors will open where you didn't know they were going to be." A health coach has a bedtime meditation and a gratitude practice, and people started asking, well, can we do this with you? So the coach invited more people to a nighttime call every weekday. She set up a minimal payment plan around it and is making an additional $300 or something dollars per month, helping a group of friends to meditate and feel better. There's a creative designer who loves to leisurely make caramel apples with her family. So she created a course teaching people how to make caramel apples while at home with their families. I mean, who doesn't love caramel apples? And so she had this informal launch and made $20,000.
Wow.
And lastly, leverage social media. Y'all, people are hanging out online. If you're on Instagram, you're getting the IG Live notifications on repeat. And this past weekend, I read that there was an all-time high around the world with more saves and searches on Pinterest than any other weekend in their history. If you are a blogger or do blogging, this is a huge opportunity. According to Pinterest, searches for backyard patio designs increased by 12 times over last year. Searches for home office ideas increased by 3 times over the past 2 weeks. So now is the time to amplify your marketing strategy and be building your brand awareness and visibility online. I hope that these 5 ways to leverage gave you some creative ideas for your business. Now I'm going to pass it off to Meg, who's going to share tips 2, 3, and 4.
Awesome. Thank you, Stephanie. I love the candy apple idea. 20,000. How funny is that? It's amazing. So that is everything you just said is a great intro to the next tip here, which is with that mindset of creativity. The next thing that we'd like to invite you to do is to take a moment to think about, and you've probably seen this quote posted around Facebook. I've been seeing this a lot lately. Something like, well, when things go back to normal after all of this is over, what parts of normal do you actually want to go back to? And I like to think of this pause as a time to take stock of our business as it has been, and to really think about, if nothing had changed, if we were still just living normal life, what would the trajectory of your business have actually looked like? Because sometimes we get so caught up with the day-to-day of our running our businesses that we don't even stop to think, am I going in the right direction? Is this business turning out to be what I had envisioned? Am I working with the type of people that I actually want to be working with? And with all that being said, if nothing were to change, what would the future of this business 1 year from now look like? So some kind of things that I'd love you to write down and to think through is, number 1, let's think back over the course of this year so far before all of this virus stuff started happening. And think about, well, how many clients was I currently attracting per month? So you can break that down into how many leads was I getting on an average month. And I know in some industries that can vary greatly depending on the season, but think back even over the course of the last year and start to ask yourself, okay, how many leads was I actually getting? Was I booking the amount of clients that I really want to be booking? Then the next step of that is, okay, well, based on the clients that I did have coming in, based on the leads that I did have coming in, if that didn't change 1 year from now, would you be happy with that? If that trajectory stayed exactly the same, would you feel like your business was a success? And if the answer is no, well, that's great, because this is the perfect opportunity for us to take a look at the path that you were on and to make some changes, which we'll talk about in the next tips, to change that trajectory. Because now that, in some businesses, maybe it feels like nothing's coming in as far as leads or clients go. Well, this is our opportunity to evaluate what would have happened anyway, and to, if this was the reality that would have been happening, well, this is our chance to create a new one. Hope that makes sense. So the next question off of that is, okay, well, maybe I was getting a fair amount of clients in, or maybe I wasn't, but of those clients that I was getting in, what was my average client value? So in other words, are you happy with the amount of money you were bringing in per client? And this can break down to a few different things. If number one, maybe your revenue was okay, but at the end of the day, maybe you're only just skating by with profits. So if that is the case, well, this is a good time to think, well, what do I need to build into my business margin-wise so that when things go back to normal, I can make more profit than I even was before any of this started? And I know that pricing can be a little bit of a touchy subject for a lot of people. There's a lot of mindset that goes behind that, which Stephanie is the master at helping with the mindset side of things. But just from a logical standpoint, what do you need 1 year from now, or once we come out of this? What do you need to happen for your business to start to get on an even better trajectory than you were on before? So let me know if any of that is not making sense, or if you have any questions around what I'm saying. So on the topic of pricing, on the topic of your client value, I'd love to know, and let us know in the comments too. And it's okay to be honest, because for a lot of people, I just had a client yesterday that I was speaking to who told me, well, I haven't changed my pricing in 17 years. And she felt really guilty about the idea, especially now with everything that's going on, of raising that pricing. But at the same time, kind of like Stephanie had just explained, she had really quickly gotten creative with bringing her business online. And she found that she was still having a good flow of clients as a result of that. So her time right now is very, very tight. So I said, well, this isn't about feeling like you're ripping people off. That's not what this is. Now that you have an online presence, now that you have online offerings, you have different levels of service that you can provide people. And if they want your time, and if you need to take time out of your busy schedule to provide that time, well, then it is time to think about, what do we need you to earn price-wise to make that work? Just logically work as a business, right? So question being, when was the last time you've changed your pricing? Is this a time to think about and to maybe have some coaching around, well, what do I really need to change in the structure of my business now to make sure that when I do start implementing some of the marketing strategies, which I'm sure we'll touch on a little bit too, when I start to put that into place and more leads do start coming through the door, how can I serve them best while also growing the path for the business? Because I honestly believe that this is like, I don't want this to come off the wrong way, but this time is almost a gift to us business owners. As stressful as it feels sometimes, if we take the opportunity to take stock and to really think about what kind of success we want from our business in the next 6 months, then this is the perfect time to start to do that. So all in all, to wrap this idea up, I love this quote, and I wish I had written down who said this to give proper credit where it's due, but the same things that got you to the level of success or lack of success that you may feel you're experiencing right now, those same tactics, those same ideas, the same mindset is not going to be enough to bridge the gap to that next level. If you want to start attracting higher level, more premium clients, if you want to start earning more per client, if you want to bring in more leads every month, it's going to take a new way of thinking and a new trajectory to put you on that path. So that is tip number 2, which brings us right into number 3. So number 3 is where we can start to talk about some of that branding that I mentioned earlier. And this tip is about getting your brand aligned with your actual goals that we kind of just discussed for your business. So with getting your branding in alignment, if you do want to go ahead and change that trajectory like we talked about, it means that the pieces of your brand, and I'll explain what that means here in just a second, need to all be talking to each other and need to be consistent with each other. This is even more vital with the potential of a recession, because when everyone else is going to be sending out, some people are going to stop doing the marketing, but at the same time, if you want to be able to catch people's attention in a time where people feel scared or nervous to spend money, then it's going to take a really strong message to catch their attention and to also show them why now is the time to invest with you. So with that being said, I want to introduce branding as an idea that is a lot more than just design. So, most people think of it as the logo, as the colors, but really the way I like to define branding is that it is essentially the way that you make a potential client feel when they come in contact with your brand. What kind of ideas go through their head when they see your brand or your business or your website? And if you think about it in terms of, okay, if they come across my brand, what would they tell their friends about it? That is the impression that you're creating, and that is created through a lot more factors than just the look and feel. So here's how I break it down. And yes, visual, the design, the aesthetic, that is one part of this. But you've also got, okay, in a market of however many people, and a lot of the clients that I work with are in creative spaces like photographers, where it's just a fact of life that, yes, it is very saturated right now. So, okay, what is it that we can kind of make you stand out as different? What kind of messaging are you using? So are the words that you're saying, the content that you're writing, is it actually getting the attention of the right people? So for example, when you write something, and if somebody lands on your website and they start to read your homepage, is it making your ideal client say, oh my God, this person knows what I'm thinking, they get me, I have no choice, but I have to work with them. That is what the right messaging can and should do. And that has to come before the visuals too, by the way, because the visuals should just essentially magnify that and make it even more of that like blown away impression when somebody lands on your site. Now, at the same time, we also need to consider your offer and your pricing like we spoke about. So if you want to start attracting clients that really value the work that you're doing and that are willing to invest even during an uncertain time like this. Well, if your messaging is top notch, if your visual aesthetic is top notch, and they're reading through your site and they say, wow, this is perfect. I can't even believe that I found the right person to work with. And then they take a look at your pricing and it's like down here, well, there's going to be a lack of trust. They're going to say, well, it seems so perfect. I know that like to get something that perfect that it's going to require me to invest. But if the pricing or the offer or any of these factors don't match up to what the client is expecting, then it's going to create a lack of trust. So when it comes to your branding, we need to make sure all of these elements make sense and talk to each other and give the potential client an impression that allows them to know that, yes, you are confident around your brand, you're confident around the experience and the level of service you're going to provide to them, and that by working with you and investing with you, they are going to get the level of experience that they are really dreaming about. So hopefully all of that breakdown of the way that I think branding really needs to be looked at makes sense. And again, during a time like this where there is a lot of uncertainty, if you can put out a brand that has this perfect combination of all of these elements, and if it makes immediate sense when the ideal client comes in contact with your business, then it's going to just be a hell of a lot easier to attract the right people, to get in front of the right people when you start to do marketing, because now you know exactly who you are as a business, and ultimately to get people to become a lead and to become a client with you. So that essentially is tip number 3, that during this slow time, this is a great opportunity for us to take a look at, well, does my branding even make sense? Am I actually attracting the level of clients that I want? Does my offer and my pricing match with the type of people that I'm trying to attract? Do I feel confident with the messaging and my brand as a whole? And should I take the time to make sure that all 5 of these pieces are in alignment so that I can then use the marketing tactics and the marketing strategies to just simply push this message out to more people, right? All right, so that really is the breakdown of how I see branding. And just to give you a quick visual example here. So this is my client, Tina. She's actually the one I was just speaking about who hadn't raised her pricing in quite some time. Now, before we worked together, she had a very, simple, old school type site. And again, she has gotten to the point in her business where she's starting to recognize that she wants to, if she's working one-on-one with a client, it needs to be somebody who really understands the value of working with the level of expert that she is. So by, really digging deep into, okay, what does the pricing have to look like for this to make sense? What does the messaging have to look like to attract more of the right people? Not to attract like every single person who just picked up a puppy at the shelter, but people that really understand that they want to create a family dog, a relationship with their pet that really, is above and beyond just the pet learning how to sit, if that makes sense. So what we have to do is really reevaluate all of the messaging, create writing that speaks to the right people, and then we can go and do the pretty fun stuff and make the site look really nice, make sure that the site leads people in the right way. But overall, it's, as much as the visuals are important to giving off that trust factor, that authority factor, showing that you are in fact premium in a sense, all of that foundational stuff, your offer, your message, that has got to come first and foremost. So if you're in a place right now where you're thinking about this, what I absolutely recommend is to focus first on your message. And even before that, getting real clarity about who that potential ideal client is. Not just like, how do I bring more leads in general? Because if you're going to get 100 leads and you're going to hate working with 50% of them, it's going to be more harm than good. We want to make sure that when you do go ahead and implement those marketing strategies, that the words that you're saying are like candy to the right people. Does that make sense? Um, so this is just one kind of visual example. I'm very visual, so I hope that it helps to see how that kind of plays out. So last one from me, and then we're back to Stephanie. So my tip number 4, and Lisa, I totally agree. Perfect time to refine the message. Tip number 4 is to, once you've gotten clarity around your message and your brand in general, we then want to make sure that in times like this, you are findable. So while during this time, you might have seen or heard that, for example, Facebook ads, the costs have come way down right now because people are afraid to put their message out there. They're afraid to spend money on it. Well, regardless of your method, regardless of whether you're looking to use paid advertising or organic marketing, now is a perfect time to make sure that if you've created this beautiful brand and you've got this great way of helping people right now, you need to make sure people can find it so that they can become a lead, so that they can become a client. So if you are not currently findable online, you're just missing out on what Stephanie spoke about, where people are online right now, they're on social media, they're stuck at home, they have nothing, as bad as it sounds, a lot of people have nothing better to do. So if we're not out there and putting our message out there in front of the right people, we cannot inspire them to see the bright side of this opportunity, of this time. In times of uncertainty, this is an opportunity for you as a business owner to become sort of a beacon, a lighthouse of inspiration for your people. And it doesn't matter if you're in a business like photography where right now you don't have a choice. You can't be out there doing the work. This is still a time where you can get people thinking and envisioning what it's going to be like when this ends, and starting to get your message in front of them to create the idea of an experience, of whether it's an event, whether, even if you do portraits, for example, where you don't have like these events where you're planning far out, this is still a chance where you can get in front of people and inspire them with the work that you do and the work that you have done in the past. So to be this beacon of inspiration, people need to be able to find you. So a few things to think about. The low-hanging fruit to me is, especially during a slower time where we've got more time to think about these things, is, are you showing up in search? And when it comes to SEO or search engine optimization, I know it can be a little bit of an intimidating subject for some. It can be a little bit technical, but at the same time, I want you to know that SEO isn't brain science. It isn't as difficult as some experts make it out to sound. The idea is just, what small actions can we take with your website, and how can we set you up now so that in 2-3 months from now, when people are searching for what you offer, you're in a position where you're starting to get leads organically that you had never gotten before. And the thing with search is that if you don't take the time to do that and to implement those ideas and those tactics, it's not going to magically happen. So this is the perfect time to take the opportunity to make sure that your website and your content is optimized for search because people are going to be looking for what you have to offer. And if you can come out the other side of this experience with 5 or 10 new leads every single month finding you organically, it's like, why not? It's something that you didn't have before, but now you can because we have this chance to put it into place, right? So search engine is one. And the next thing, of course, is just your marketing strategy. So before all of this, kind of like we talked about with taking stock, before all of this, I want you to ask yourself, did you have an effective marketing plan in place? And if you did have a marketing plan of some sort in place, was it getting you the type of results that you want? And if the answer is no, well, this is a perfect opportunity to really create a plan for the type of strategies that would make most sense for your business. And as Stephanie can attest to, this can look different depending on the type of business that you run. I'm not going to say that Facebook ads necessarily are the end all be all for all businesses, although we've experienced that you can get some pretty great results. But the idea here is that you want to use marketing strategies that get you in front of your people. And by starting to think about the strategy and starting to put some of that in place, like now, while people are at home, you're going to be planting those seeds for when people are ready to start spending money again. If it maybe in your industry, it really has slowed down right now. So I want to leave that idea with you and hands it back off to Stephanie to help you think more about maybe what those marketing strategies would look like, or maybe what your just strategy as a whole is going to have to look like to make sure that you really are thriving if a recession does come, or even if this whole virus situation just happens to last longer than we all hope that it might. So with that,
thank you, Meg. You give such a good perspective and such good things to think about. So thank you for that. So good. I'm going to give us our final 2 tips, and then we're going to segue into Q&A. Ask us anything. And here's the thing. We're sharing some higher level strategies. And so if any of this is feeling like, oh my gosh, how do I even put this into action? What does this mean for me and my particular business? Utilize the Q&A that we're going to go into after we wrap up the tips here, to ask us those questions. We will stay afterwards. We will stay past the hour for a little while if it's necessary. Just really use that time. So, okay, tip number 5, stay focused and keep moving forward. I want you to resist the temptation you might be feeling right now to blow up your entire business model or your strategy. If you thought shiny objects were a problem before, it is shiny objects on steroids right now. And they are coming at us fast and furious from every angle, every news station, and every feed. This creates absolute panic and hysteria, and you feel like the solution or the response to the panic is to try something entirely new. Now, for some of us, that might be required. For many of us, we don't need new. We just need to strengthen and build from our existing foundation. And there are 3 things for you to do when it comes to this that my coach actually so clearly helped me see. And I want to be able to do that for you. So number 1 is focus on your assets, the resources that have or create value for you. Assets are things like your clients, your customers, your community, your audience, even if it's 50 or 100 people, your funnel, your collaborations, your content, your team, your expertise, your skill, your knowledge. And you really want to be able to strengthen and invest in these existing assets. Notice I'm not saying go out and create an entirely new customer avatar and start marketing something totally new to this new person. This really means serve your clients, serve them so powerfully they never forget it. Call them one at a time and ask them, hey, what's your biggest challenge right now? Can I help you brainstorm this? It means keep creating content. In fact, 10x this if you can. Focus on building brand visibility and awareness. This is so important right now. If you were used to doing one Facebook Live per week, maybe now you're doing 2 or 3 Facebook Lives a week or one every day to serve your audience. If you were reaching out to maybe 5 people per day, maybe you're now reaching out to 10 people per day and just saying, hey, how are you holding up? How can I be here for you right now with no expectations? Right now is the time to get out of the day-to-day and work on your business. Like Meg said, use this time to plant the seeds of service and value so they are ready to harvest when things turn back on, right? And a bonus tip to help you stay focused and keep moving forward, it lies in your expenses. Hear me out. This part is huge. When it comes to expenses, there are 2 types: those that depreciate and those that appreciate or expand in value. Now, it's always super important to know your numbers. I've learned this the hard way. I'd much rather be head in the sky, out there creating stuff, but we get to do that and be a savvy business owner too. So knowing where your money is going, what's coming in, Finance 101. And in a time like this, we want to have a real handle on those things. So there are expenses that depreciate that you probably don't need or want to be. You don't need to really go out and buy a new car, probably. Whereas now is the time to invest in expenses that appreciate or expand in value, such as learning. And of course, this is only if you're able to. This isn't to tell you that, to not be able to eat or feed your family because you've invested in something that appreciates, okay? The point is, getting expert business training is crucial. Be really clear on the things that will help you make more money. You want to invest in those things. Business courses, trainings, marketing help, business coaching, admin support. This is the time to invest in things that will help you grow your business. Use this time to double down on the learning and the development so you can do more of our 6th and final tip for you today to bulletproof your business right now. And it is all about the serving and selling. I want to quickly address the elephant in the room. Your generosity of service, the way that you show up, the way that you give value, and you want to help everyone, sometimes help them for free. This is a beautiful, caring part of you, and you get to continue to give incredible value. Go ahead and thank the heart-centered, mission-driven soul of yours. And I want you to think about the time when you gave, and there was nothing left. If you're a parent, this might resonate. Maybe it was that unreciprocating friend that you had for years. Maybe it was the client calls that go over an extra 20 minutes every single time. The good news is there has never been a better time to give tremendous value. The bad news is, which I actually tend to see as really exciting because this, for many service-based entrepreneurs, is your growth edge. You can't continue to give without the giving being matched with equal parts receipt. This gap needs to be closed. And I'm going to show you why now is the perfect time to work on closing it in a way that is full of integrity to the benefit of your clients, yourself, your family, and the world. We are going to hashtag close the gap. I want you to write that down. We're going to close the gap that you might be feeling, giving, 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 receiving, receiving, receiving. We're going to close that. And here's what I want you to know. It's only been several decades that women could even get their own credit card or manage her own money without the help of a man or her husband. There are still women in parts of the world who do not have this basic right. So our history, our intimacy with money, with making money is new. It's really new. So the reason you can't seem to continue to grow your income month after month or stop giving out the handouts or the freebies or the discounts, it's just current hardwiring and programming that we get to look at. And I get that we're going deep today. I told you it wasn't going to be a superficial marketing presentation because that's just going to give you more information. And our guess is you need a transformation. Because the ultimate truth is this: we have to be supported as we work on these really big missions and projects and movements that have been placed on our hearts. Ultimately, the more money you make is a reflection of the amount of service. The more you serve, the more money you will make. Sales is a byproduct of service. That's it. And guess what your biggest opportunity is right now? To be of greater service. So how can you show up and be of massive service right now? And then, if it makes sense, make an invitation for people to take the next natural step with you. If you are providing a service that actually helps people now more than ever, you need to be out there being seen. Netflix isn't shying away from selling subscriptions. Nordstrom didn't cancel their massive spring created tens of thousands of new jobs to manage the influx of orders. People are spending money. People are investing in themselves. And as a small business owner, you don't have the option right now to pause your business. If you did, you might go completely out of business. You have bills to pay and people are depending on you. So I want to give you 5 questions to ask yourself to supercharge your service and sales right now. Question number 1, what do my current clients need more of right now? Number 2, how could I take advantage of tech and virtual, to make my offer more appealing or useful? How could I be using social media and content marketing to amplify my business right now? How do I want to be perceived as showing up in a time like this? And how can I focus on service and money generating activities only? This is the time to work on your marketing funnels, to work on your email sequences, to do the Facebook Lives, to think about your content calendar, to amplify your marketing and focus on brand awareness and visibility. Now is the time to work on that big project. Now is the time to implement. And so what I want to do now is close with this mantra. You can write this down. You can repeat it with me mentally. You can say it out loud. Oh yeah. Okay. Maybe click. Yeah, there we go. Okay. You can just affirm it, whatever you need to do. But this is the honest truth. My business is solid. It is providing value and will continue to provide value. Therefore, it is something that I will sustain and come out on the other side. We'd love to hear from you. What has been your biggest insight or takeaway from today, we'd love, love, love for you to share some of the favorite things that you got in the chat. The reason being, we want to see what was valuable for you. So if you would be willing to do that, just put that in the comments, and we're going to transition into Q&A, and we're going to open it up for you to ask us anything, because we are all in this together. We want to, gather questions and thoughts from you. Tell us what you want to learn. Tell us what you need the most help and support with. Like, how do I do SEO? How do I talk to my clients right now? Let us know so we can help you. And if you've been listening to this and you're feeling like, Steph, Meg, I need to be able to bulletproof my business right now, optimize my business online, generate consistent leads and clients, then listen up. We are opening up 5 spots for 60-minute brand audit and review intensives. They are absolutely complimentary. This is where you get Meg and I for an entire hour to work on your business. These calls are valued at almost $600. We're just giving away 5 for free. We've had so many people reach out, and these are going to fly off the shelves. So grab one now. All you need to do is simply put yes in the comments and we'll be in touch, or we will link our calendar link in the comments and you can go straight there. The calls will take place starting next week, Monday, April 6th. And so I highly encourage you to grab one of those spots. There's only 5. It's first come, first serve basis. And if you're thinking, if you're watching this later, maybe you think, well, there's no point. There's probably no spots left. What's the point of me trying? Try anyway. You just might receive a special gift from us, as we really want to reward the action takers. Okay. So grab one of those spots, and we're going to head into Q&A now. Oh my goodness. Are we ready? Alrighty. So,
sorry, Steph.
No. Go ahead.
Let's see. I've got a couple questions here from some of my peeps. Happy to throw these in the ring for you guys first. And let me just super quickly throw this link to our calendar on the video feed for you guys. One second here. Okay, so I'm going to throw that calendar link in the chat for everyone. Okay, and questions. So let's see here. We've got Ruby. Miss Ruby says, I own a photography company. I have a boudoir promo video done for the boudoir side of my business a couple months ago, but I'm afraid to launch it during the pandemic. Your thoughts? We are all home. I'm not sure people feel the need to do this. I love social media, but I'm fearing at this time. All right. Well, that for me, Ruby, is a little tricky. While, people might not be thinking about boudoir at this time, that might be true. I guess the question is it something that if people see it, they're at home kind of feeling, there's a lot of people not used to the isolation of all of this, of feeling a little bit off, of feeling maybe a little bit down. Is this boudoir video something that could inspire them to start to feel confident in themselves while they're home alone? Is there some way that you can tie this into everything going on and make it that beacon of, oh, that's something maybe I should think about doing down the road? That's my initial thought. Or is there something photography related, maybe another stream of your business that you feel makes more sense at this time, where, yes, people might not be at the moment shelling out money for boudoir due to the circumstances? Is there something else that maybe there's a little bit more of a market need for during a time like this? And again, with a lot of creative services, it's a little bit tricky in a way, because is there a real need for it ever? You know, these are all nice things to have. So we need to create that, I think, feeling of an escape or something that can inspire people when they're just not feeling inspired, and something that they can look forward to. Stephanie, do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I love that advice. What's coming up for me and what I would probably do is I would get on the phone with these clients. I would simply ask them what's going on, what do they need? And just creating space for them to really tell me what's going on in their world. What are they experiencing? And having an honest conversation so I can kind of gather more information and see if there is an opportunity for me to support them with whatever they need. Maybe yes, maybe no, but I think the beauty is really in showing up, being of service, asking the questions, and really gathering that information to inform your next creative solution.
Definitely. Great. So next we have some questions from Mark. Okay. Mark is wondering, how does this apply or work with a new business? So he says he started last year. Mark is a photographer as well. And he has a 3 to 5 year plan to go full time, but it's not quite going the way that he hoped that it would so far. He says he is using some of these tips to plan some photo shoots with a bridal shop and a hotel. That sounds great. So just overall, he says, what's the best way to plan a marketing strategy to start building that momentum? Stephanie, any thoughts on the marketing side of if you're maybe just looking to gain that initial traction and rev things up during this time?
Yeah, I would probably go back to those questions that we posed inside the presentation here. Leveraging the 5 areas of leverage. What can you leverage? What your clients need? Can you leverage what you're really good at? Can you leverage social media in a unique or different way? I would really just kind of, a lot of this, it's such a beautiful moment for us to give ourselves the space to work through some deeper foundational pieces that we've been go for so long and running. We really haven't had the chance to do that. So this is a moment that forces us to be still and really ask those deeper foundational questions, and to see what you can uncover. So I would really just get a piece of paper. What are the 5 areas of leverage? What comes up for me, and in my unique business and my unique expertise.
Absolutely. Awesome.
It looks like
Lisa, yeah.
has a question. I'll put it up here.
Oh, cool. I want to do that.
Isn't this amazing? Okay, well, perfect. We'll just dive into this. So Lisa and everyone, we are using a third-party software called StreamYard to do this live event. And I mean, Meg, I'm curious to get your feedback. This is the first time we're using it. I personally think it's fantastic.
Yeah.
And yeah, you can actually set up a free account. There are different levels and add-ons, but in a nutshell, you can bring on guests like we're doing here with each other. We're co-hosting. We are able to share screens. There are different screen formatting that you can kind of use. You can schedule this broadcast so people are notified. You can do cool things like, have banner tickers running in the lower third of your screen to highlight a call to action. And you can put people's comments up on the board for all to see. So it's really kind of intuitive. And it's a great thing to use. So StreamYard.com, highly recommend it. That's what we've been using today.
Yeah, it's also my first time using this, but I'm loving it. I used to use something called OBS to stream, but I had never actually tried doing like having multiple people on it before. But I love how we can have both of us on the side and then the slides on top. So yeah, I would
Yeah. And just to
definitely use
show
them.
the viewers here, these are our
Yeah.
different kinds of screen options. Yeah, you can
Oh, yeah,
kind
that's
of
so
do,
cool.
oh boy.
Oh,
Here we go.
overlapping.
And yeah, it's pretty cool.
Very cool.
I love that. I typically use Ecamm and this looks so good and you didn't need to get Facebook approval to see comments. Oh,
Right.
interesting. I thought that we did need to get, the user did have to grant their permission to leave the comments, but maybe not.
Oh, I didn't even know that was a, shows how much I know
Yeah.
about this. Didn't even know that was a thing that you had to grant
Yeah.
permission. Huh.
Hey, Melina. Awesome. Any other questions, guys?
Let me go back through my feed here, see if I missed anything.
Lisa says, I didn't need to sign off on anything. Oh, wow. Cool. That's good to know. I wonder, maybe you attended a StreamYard presentation before and you already did that, or maybe not. I don't know. Anyway, that's cool. I'm glad it was easy for you. We love it.
Oh, very good.
Oh, okay, Meg, one question that came up for a couple people, and I totally get this because I was here years ago in my business. So what to do, because a lot of service providers in the beginning, we don't see ourselves as brands. Like
Right.
that idea feels like bigger than what we are here doing. Does that make sense?
Totally. Yes.
So how do you, is that a mindset piece for people? What like can you talk to that? I would love your
Yeah,
perspective on that.
that's a really good point. That it does feel very much like, oh, I'm not Coca-Cola, I'm not McDonald's. Those are brands, right? I really, it's not that you have to go out calling yourself a brand. It's more the idea that if you really want your business to be very successful for the long term, then I believe you need to take those brand elements, just like any big company would, to make sure that your message makes sense to the right people. That's really all that it boils down to for me. So when I talk about taking yourself from a small business to a brand that attracts, all I really mean is putting a foundation in place in your business so that everything is in alignment, so that you feel really, really confident with the way that you present yourself, and you have branding, meaning like the visuals that make you feel like this is you, this is your business, this is your personality, this is your voice, the way that I speak to clients, the way that I treat my clients, all of that is your brand. And the better you can get a grasp for how all of those pieces play with each other, the more power your marketing is going to have. Um, I see a lot of people who will try different marketing strategies. They'll go and try Facebook ads and they'll say, this doesn't work. None of these marketing strategies work. These marketing experts keep throwing out all these great ideas that like bring them millions of dollars and I'm not getting a single lead. Well, when you look at the people who are succeeding with those marketing strategies, usually it comes down to their branding, because their message and all, like I could harp on message all day long, because that's really what's at the root of this. Because if you can get that part right, your marketing is going to start to work. So yeah, when it comes to branding, it doesn't have to be this like big thing where you have to create this corporation. It's just more the ideas of what branding means for your small business and how you can use it to start attracting more and higher level clients. If that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for sharing that. And I think what I see very commonly, especially with women in business, is we're not always that confident in our own capabilities. And so, like, I'm just thinking back to a client call this morning, and an amazing client that has decades of expertise in what she's doing. Although she's pivoted into a different arena, she still has 30 years of experience. She is an expert. And yet when we're, making a transition out of, let's just say, corporate into coaching or coaching into consulting, we're really just putting a different hat on. At the end of the day, at the core of who you are and the foundation of what you do, you have a lifetime of expertise, even if that doesn't mean you've been coaching or marketing for 10 years. So I really like to encourage my clients and my community to make a list of all the reasons you are amazing at what you do. Really, really connect to that, because it's so often the case where we second guess our own abilities.
Definitely. Yeah. Good point.
Anything else?
Any other questions? I don't see any other at the moment.
Okay.
Let me check over here.
So for anyone that's just joining, if you missed our special announcement, Meg and I felt like we needed to come together and do something fun. So we opened up 5 spots for 60-minute brand audit and review intensives with us, totally free. And this means you have her and I together to get in your business and give you high level support. So make sure to put a yes in the comments. We also dropped the calendar link right in the comments for you to sign up and pick a time that works great with your schedule. The calls are taking place next week, April 6th. So definitely take advantage of this. And what we don't want to have happen for you is we don't want you to, weeks or months down the line, be frustrated at yourself for not doing things before, for not taking the action that you should have taken, for not getting the support when it was right in front of you, for not going all in, for not bulletproofing your business. Because honestly, you have what it takes, and now you know it more than ever. Amidst all of this chaos, you see so much opportunity, and you know that you could help so many people right now who are going through a really tough time. So there's a recession probably around the corner. Hopefully we're wrong about that, but probably not. And if you don't figure out a way to bring in clients and to generate income, then it could get scary for real. But there's still time. There's time to do things right and see real results. So rise up, take action, do what it takes. We are here for you. And these sessions are going to be so powerful, and we can't wait to see you there.
Yeah, I'm excited.
Amazing.
So it looks like we got a question from Amanda. How would either of you suggest getting started with targeting your messaging for your brand? Good question. So Amanda, I think for me, the first thing with creating the right messaging for your brand is that we need to really be super, super clear on who we're talking to. And so one thing that you're going to see a lot in the marketing world is, okay, well, let's just define your demographics. Okay, what is the age range? What's the gender? Where do they live? The problem with that is there's a lot of different personalities within women aged 20 to 40, right? So what I would recommend doing instead is to not even worry about that, to think about the personality of the people that are your ideal clients. like what is their sense of humor? What kind of experience do they want to get out of working with you? Really more of the, I guess you would call it the psychographics rather than the
Mhm.
demographics. So like who is the person? And you can use your own voice to create a message that relates really closely to what they would want. So that's like step one, figuring out really who we're speaking to. Step two is then figuring out um, what we need to say to get their attention. So it really comes down to thinking of what are the real benefits that to them would be the best experience. So whatever it is that you provide, and if you want to let us know what it is you do, so I can more specifically gear this towards you. But
So
basically,
I can quick weigh in there.
oh,
Amanda is a coach and she helps people turn around their health. And she
oh,
is
great,
amazing. And she uses holistic principles to do that. Does really cool amino therapies and things like that. She's awesome.
interesting. Oh, cool. Okay, so with health and wellness space, a lot of people focus on these like high level what they think are the benefits. We'll go into depth of talking about how they do what they do and, benefits that might be like lose 10 pounds or have more energy. These are the same things that everyone is saying, right? So
Mhm.
your message is going to get um, it's not going to be able to stand out among all the other messages. So what we need to do is figure out for your ideal client, what do they really, really want? Like, why do they want to lose those 10 pounds? What does it mean for their life if they can make it happen? And when you can get so clear on the real outcomes that they want, and you can write your message about that, it's going to be like instantaneous way to stand out from all of the other noise. So I hope that helps. I hope that makes sense.
Love that. What I would add is oftentimes we are our best clients, right? And so, Amanda, for you, I know that you know exactly the pain points of your clients, and so I would use
Mm-hmm.
a really basic story and solution framework in everything that you're creating right now. You're telling a really compelling story. Maybe you're speaking to that dark moment in your own health or life or whatever that you know your client is experiencing right now. You're sharing that story, and then you're sharing the solution that you have. That's it. Story, solution. I would start really simply. And a really important piece is to just start creating, just start messaging. You're going to find, and when I look back, Meg, I'm sure you can agree, like when I look back on my posts and my emails from a year ago, even, I'm like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh. So,
So embarrassing.
you will constantly evolve. You will refine your message. That will never, ever stop, really. And that's what's really exciting and cool, because the journey is the journey. So just get started. Write that first post, try the story with the solution, and speak from your heart.
Love it.
Great question. Anything else? Okay, I think we have two spots still left um, for the 60-minute brand audit and review intensive. So two remain. If you want one, put yes in the comments. Head over to the link that we put in the comments here. And yeah, Megan, I will show up and spend an entire hour with you, rolling up our sleeves, looking at your business, looking at your brand, and just helping you feel better about the days and weeks and months to come. You need the support right now. We all do. And so now is the time to do it. So we hope that this was valuable for you today. Meg, any parting words before we wrap this up?
No, I appreciate everyone being here with us. It was a lot of fun. I hope that it was helpful and absolutely looking forward to chatting with some of you guys one on one and getting to know more about your business and seeing how we can help you really make sure that your business is bulletproof for this, whatever we are going through, whatever we might go through, and getting you on the right track for the rest of the year, the rest of the future of your business, getting you on the right path. So, yeah, just thank you all so much. It was fun.
Awesome. All right. Mwah. Lots of love, everyone. Thank you for being here with us. Big hugs. Thank you, Meg.
Thank you,
High
Stella.
five.
I'll talk to
All
you
right, guys.
soon.
Have a great rest of your day.
All right, bye.
Bye.